A very good day to everyone. Welcome back to this lecture on this course Metrics and Analytics of Marketing. Today is the lecture 5 of week 3. In today's class we will try to explore 3 metrics, that is Net Promoter Score, Willingness to Search and Neuromarketing. These are some advanced tools to measure the loyalty and subconscious responses. These metrics basically help the brands build deeper customer connections in our competitive marketing landscape. We'll start our discussions with this first metric called the Net Promoter. Net Promoter is a measure of degree to which current customers will recommend a product, service or a company. Basically, a high NPS signals strong loyalty like active word of mouth promotion. On the other hand, a low or negative scores warns the risk of viral damage of the brand perception. In India, if we take the example, especially in the financial sectors, companies like ICICI Prudential Life Insurance, which achieved a NPS score of 62 in the recent service. Similarly, HDFC Life or Max Life also secured a score of 59, which are very good. So, what is, I think we have already mentioned about the Net Promoter Score. So, what is Net Promoter Score? It is the percentage of people who have promoted the product, who have recommended the product or brand to their peer groups, to their network, minus the percentage of people who are actually bad mouthing about the product, who are probably dissatisfied customers and spreading the disadvantages associated with the product. So, this Net Promoter Score does not take into account this passive customers who may be satisfied or slightly dissatisfied, but they are not proactively taking any action either to promote or to detract the product or brand. So, basically if we talk if we take these examples, let us say, as I said, that in ICICI Prudential Life Insurance achieved an NPS of 62. I will just write it, NPS equal to 62. Let's say, let's hypothesize, hypothetically take this as that there is no passive customers. So, what does it mean? Let's say this one, Net Promoter Score is a function of X minus Y. X is percentage of people who are promoter, who are recommending this brand to their peer groups, and Y is the percentage of people who are saying bad thing about this product, the percentage of detractors. So, X minus Y equal to 62. If there is no passive customers, either the customers are recommender or the customers are detractor, in that case what we can also say is that X plus Y equal to, what will be the value? 100. Now, if from these two equations we derive the value of X, what will be that value? So, if I this one add sum of these two equations, 2x will equal to be 162. So, your X value will be X value will be 81 and Y value will be 19. So, this says that for ICICI Prudential Life, the number of satisfied people who are also promoter of this brand, who are recommending this particular financial service to their family members, to their friends, to their colleagues, is 81%, which is very high, and people who are dissatisfied with this service they consist of 19%. So, basically what we need to do, what went right with this 81%, and we also need to understand what went wrong with this 19%, and if there is a possibility to take any corrective actions to address the issue of this 19%. Another example is the Reliance Jio disrupted telecom with affordable data. Its high recommendation rates reflect viral growth through satisfied users sharing with their family, friends and colleagues. Basically, the NPS motivates the employees and track the progress easily, like the way I have done this calculations. So, the moment I come to know that 81% are satisfied, that moment I as an employee of the organization will be happy about it. We can also take some Indian examples. Zomato or Swiggy often boost high NPS due to convenience. So, high NPS itself is something which can be boosted to attract new customers. Now, let us move to understand the purpose of NPS. NPS assesses how well a brand creates loyal and enthusiastic customers. I have used two words, one is loyal and another one is enthusiastic, because I can be a loyal customer, still I can be a passive customer. So, I do not give rise, I do not help in improving the net promoter score, though I am a loyal and satisfied customers. So, net promoter score can only be improved through loyal and enthusiastic customers. We ask one question, let us say on a scale of 0 to 10, the question can be like, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or a colleague, recommend our brand. Basically, if it is in a scale of 0 to 10, 9 to 10 is they are considered as loyal persons, loyal and enthusiastic. Then 7 to 8 satisfied, probably loyal, but they are not enthusiastic, and 0 to 6 they reflect unhappy, and these are the people who may spread the negative word of mouth. So, this is extremely important to understand, because it actually creates an image about your brand among the potential customers. If we take the context of India, the word of mouth drives purchases strongly, because we are a family driven, we are living in a community driven culture, and that is why probably Amul came up with the cooperative model. The cooperative model and quality built the Amul's reputation in the Indian society, and that is why probably if I have to recommend, I mean just hypothetical example, if I have to recommend a dairy product to somebody, what will come to my mind at the top is the Amul brand. Similarly, the Patanjali also searched on the trust on Ayurveda. Many rated them 9 to 10 just because of the natural appeal. So, overall if we look at the purpose of net promoter score, it is to predict the future growth, it is to understand the referrals, it is to understand the possibility and probability of retention. Now, we will also look into how the net promoter score can be constructed. Simple definition: the net promoter score is created by subtracting the percentage of detractors among current customers from the percentage of promoters among current customers. So, promoters minus detractors. So, what we do, we basically ignore the passive in the calculation, but we can also follow up with them, because they are also our customers. They may be satisfied customers who are not enthusiastic, they may be dissatisfied customers who are not enthusiastic, but they also matter to our business. So, we can just look into this example. If a survey of companies customers report that there were 20% promoters, 70% passives and 10% detractors, the company would have a net promoter score of 20 minus 10, that is 10. We also need to emphasize on the fact that net promoter score needs to be monitored with the number of passive customers. In this case, though the net promoter score is 10, this is not bad, because the number of passive customers are very high. So, a net promoter score, positive net promoter score means you have a positive image among the, your brand has a positive image among the customers, and negative net promoter scores reflect that there is a serious issue with your brand perception. In case of some Indian examples, we can take the examples of smartphone brands. The surveys show that OnePlus and Xiaomi often hit the high NPS. So, around 70 to 80 in their segments due to the value, due to the low price. Users become vocal promoters on the social media. On the other hand, if we look at Apple's, so in Indian market, Apple scores high, especially in the urban areas. When we if this calculation gives us a negative value, as I said, that in that case there is a serious intervention needs to be done. So, we can take the recent examples like the crisis of Indigo. There had been multiple delays in the aeroplanes, there had been multiple delays, cancellation. So, that gave a very negative image of Indigo among the customers. Probably many people will be very much afraid of booking an Indigo flight, because if the work is important, if it is extremely important to travel at that particular point of time, probably a person will not mind paying even a bit of premium in order to avoid the Indigo brand. If we talk about the e-commerce companies, like brand like Amazon in India maintain a very high scores due to their reliable delivery. Next, we will look into this matrix, which is one of the most important matrix for the marketers today, is the willingness to search. This particular matrix, it tests the loyalty in true sense. Basically, it reflects, it is the percentage of customers who might delay the purchase, who change the stores, or who skip buying if their favorite brand is not available. They are not ready for any replacement, they are not ready for any substitute. They are so loyal to the brand. Let us say I will only purchase Colgate. For many Indians, Colgate is like, we make it synonymous with toothpaste. We are not ready to take any other branded toothpaste. So, this is the loyalty, that is captured in willingness to search. Means I am willing to search either for another store, I am ready to delay my purchase or minimize my purchase in order to get my brand. So, the likelihood that the customers will settle for a second choice product if their first choice is not available, also called the accept no substitutes. This metric can tell a company much about the attitude of its customers and whether its position in the market is likely to be defensible against the sustained pressure from the competitors. If you have a base of high willingness to search customers, then in a way, even in competitive landscape, your brand is immune to the cutthroat competition. Basically, this is considered as an acid test of loyalty, accept no substitute. So, another example that we can take is Maggi noodles. Even after this 2015 crisis, loyal users searched for it and waited, and many refused any kind of substitutes. Similarly, for Amul butter or ghee, in many households, if it is unavailable, the Amul brand is unavailable, then in that case people visit another shop rather than buying, let us say, mother dairy product from the same neighborhood shop. So, they will visit another shop. So, this is the greatness about this willingness to search matrix. It gives a lot of indications how immune you are to the competitive landscape, right. So, although many metrics explore brand loyalty, one has been called the acid test, that is the willingness to search, because this is the actual test of this matrix can test the loyalty level in its true sense. So, it is this particular matrix keeps track of the this situation also. Even if the situation is not conducive for that particular brand, customers are so loyal, customers are so strongly associated with the brand that they are finding out different ways to purchase the brand. Now, let us look at the purpose of this matrix. Basically, this matrix assesses the customer base commitment. The key question that can be addressed is, if brand is unavailable, will customers search further or simply substitute? High willingness gives the leverage in the trade. Examples, the better sales space. Let us say my neighborhood shop is not giving sales space for Amul product, and that is why I am shifting the neighborhood shop, I am purchasing it from somewhere else. Then in that case, my neighborhood shop, he or she will be bound to keep the Amul products. So, it is coming from loyalty. Sales space is derived just for the loyalty of the customers, just for the willingness to search of the customer. So, another example that we can take is the Parle-G biscuit. It is in the cheapest segment, yet both the rural and urban families often insist for Parle-G brand. Even kids reject any other biscuit, especially in the previous generation. As I said, similarly like Colgate. So, Colgate has no replacement for many. We can also take an example from the telecom industry, like during the initial introduction of the Jio SIM. There were people who stood in the queue to get a Jio SIM. So, that shows that willingness to search for this particular brand is very high. Now, let us construct this matrix. How do we construct this matrix? It is the percentage of customers willing to delay purchases, change the stores or reduce the purchase quantities to avoid switching our brand. The survey questions through which this particular matrix can be captured may take this form. If your favorite brand or product is out of stock, would you buy another or search elsewhere and wait for the brand to arrive or brand to be available? Willingness to search represents the percentage of customers who are willing to leave a store without a product if their favorite brand is unavailable. Those willing to substitute constitute the balance of the population. Remember, if you have a percentage of 10% also willingness to search, it is a very good amount, because it is extreme level of, it reflects the extreme level of loyalty. In case of Amul in the dairy industry, the cooperatives make people loyal for Amul brand only. Then next we will discuss about this third matrix called the neuromarketing. So, basically all these metrics that we have talked till now, either perceptual matrix or absolute matrix, especially in case of the perceptual matrix, what happens? It is prone to error because of my social desirability. The moment somebody asks me, let us say, are you going to change the Apple brand if the price is further increased? Probably the answer is yes. Yes, I am going to switch the Apple brand and probably I will take a OnePlus if the price of iPhone increases further. But because of the social desirability, I will say that no, I am not going to change my purchase, I am not going to change my brand. So, in this case, there is this particular data is prone to error. My actual response is being influenced or being modified by my social desirability. There are other situations through which the actual data capture can be a challenge, and that is where the concept of neuromarketing comes into picture. Neuromarketing applies the neuroscience to marketing, measuring the subconscious responses via advanced tools such as EEG, fMRI, fMRI means the functional MRI, FACS means this is called facial action coding system. Then there can be eye tracking system and there can be heart rate systems through which you understand the customer's attitude, you understand the customer's beliefs about a particular brand or about a particular advertisement. Basically, the neuromarketing matrix, they uncovers the preconscious reactions that surveys might miss out. In India, growing field like the growing marketing companies like Nielsen has the labs in Mumbai and they are planning to extend further. They have the neuromarketing labs. Specialist firm help brands like FMCG giants to test their advertisement before broadcast. So, in a simulated environment, they will test the advertisement and they will try to capture the customer's emotions if the customer is exposed to this campaign. So, that helps, saves a lot of cost, rectify the advertisement if required based on the findings from the neuromarketing labs. Another example can be Amul's topical ads. Neuromarketing could measure instant emotional engagement via humor. Similarly, the digital ads for Flipkart or Amazon tested for the subconscious appeal. What is the purpose of neuromarketing? Basically, the technology reveals the hidden reactions, the brain reactions, brain activity to an advertisement. It also influences the decision making. So, that is why the neuromarketing is becoming immensely important in case of marketing domain. So, cognitive neuroscience reveals that the decision making is often not fully deliberate but influenced by early emotional responses. Let us say I like a product at the first phase. Now, it will be extremely difficult for me to actually evaluate another product, make a comparison, make a rational comparison, because I have become already subconsciously biased towards this brand. So, this is what is being captured under neuromarketing. What is it? What is exact thing that customers are getting emotionally connected to? So, if we can identify those, if we can diagnose those things, then in that case it will be very easy for us to embed something in our advertisement, in our campaign, which will make our product or service much appealing for our customers. Let us say the LIC's advertisement, Zindagi ke saath bhi, Zindagi ke baad bhi. So, the moment that particular sentence is uttered, there can be devices connected to the person and through which we can read the brain in some way, how it is actually making some emotional arousal on the customer's mind. So, those can be covered under neuromarketing through certain set of technologies, the EEG technologies, the MRI technologies, fMRI technologies. So, now we will quickly look into this, each of these technologies one by one. So, first technology, that is the EEG. So, it is a technique that involves taking surface readings from the electrodes embedded in a headgear. EEG units of measurement is the hertz, which measures the frequency, and the microvoltage, which measures the amplitude. EEGs are useful for exploring such things as what is the consumer's immediate response to an advertisement. Once the consumer is exposed to an advertisement, then what is his or her initial reaction to it. EEGs allows a better understanding through rapid monitoring of general brain activity. This removes the subjectivity from many assessments like marketing service. So, this is the advantage of EEG. Then comes that functional MRI. So, functional MRI involves the consumers entering a scanning machine, a large machine that is non-portable and it's expensive. Probably most of you have seen it as a medical device in the diagnosis centers. The consumer will usually be shown stimuli and their brain responses will be monitored. Remember that these marketing activities are done in a very simulated environment. It cannot be done in a real life environment because of cost and because of the restrictions in the infrastructure. This process can be effective at visualizing brain processes at fine spatial resolution. So, fMRI measurement is blood oxygen level dependent and it can give you a lot of indications regarding your subconscious mind. Then comes this facial action coding system. Basically, it captures the facial expressions. It attempts to identify the consumer's mood, reactions through his or her facial movements. There is no single unit of measurement for this particular technology. The system employs numerous facial action unit characterization along with the related general head and specific subfacial movements. This particular technique helps to identify the person's underlying mood or their reaction to a particular stimuli. The stimuli can be your advertisement, reactions that otherwise might not be explicitly expressed. I myself may not know what is my subconscious reactions. Facial coding can be used to analyze the consumer reactions to proposed product features or to choose between different versions of the same advertisement. One can consider how consumers respond emotionally to a brand or even use the technique as part of an autopsy on why a marketing campaign failed. So, facial expressions can actually tell a lot of things, but we cannot capture the same thing by an human eye. So, that is where the technology comes into consideration. Then comes this eye tracking. So, eye tracking provides a real time record of where the visual attention is directed. This can also show how pupil dilation changes due to various stimuli. This measures is a useful indicator of emotional arousal. So, if you can track the eye properly, then probably it will tell you lot of things regarding your emotional arousal due to a particular stimuli. So, fixation per second when a person is viewing a stimuli can help to indicate how much attention the consumer is paying to a particular stimuli. Basically, these are used in designing of the product package, because as it can read which particular portion of the product will be seen by the customers, which particular portion will take much attention of the customers. So, that is why this technology can be used for designing the packages of the product. Then there are other important measures related to neuromarketing. So, one is the EMG, which measures the spatial micro muscle movements below the level of the observable expressions. Then we have EDA, which is an electrical current passing through the skin. It is a function of the amount of perspiration on the skin. So, perspiration conducts the electricity and is a sign of emotional arousal. So, which is measured in the galvanic skin response and skin conductance responses. So, basically it can understand the what is going on in the customer's mind. Then heart rate. The heart rate also speaks a lot regarding the what is in my mind once I am being encountered with a particular stimuli. Am I tense about it? My heart rate will increase. Am I very much excited about it? Probably my heart rate will increase. Am I indifferent about it? My heart rate will be constant. Then last one is the response latencies. It measures how fast we respond to a choice and judgment task. Quicker action is usually assumed to show a stronger mental association between the concept in the long term memory. So, this is what is for today. What we have discussed in today's class is that different concepts such as net promoter score, then willingness to search, and some of the technologies associated with neuromarketing. So, these technologies can be used for designing our marketing campaign, so that we can make a better appeal to our customers. So, with this note, I will leave for the day. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.